there were some client meetings. So in one particular client meeting, as you know, from the corporate world, we all do a lot of preparation. We have tons of slides. Your boss reviews the slides, make sure you talk the right thing, and then you tell the team this is what needs to happen, right? As I walk to the meeting, the account manager tells, Sai, this particular client is a very tough client. And he says, in the past, we've had several meetings with him, and none of us came out unscathed. You always used to point questions, you always used to ask questions that we couldn't answer. So I said, in my calm nature, I said, okay. And then we went into the meeting. And then when I asked, like, customary, okay, here is what I'm planning to cover, but is there something that you want to know? And then he told me a topic on some one of the pain points. And my slides did not have that at all. So we are also structured to following the slide format, right? But then magic happened. So I just walked to the whiteboard and then I started talking about the topic. So I obviously I knew some of it, and then some of it magically happened. And so I just walked to the whiteboard without using slides. I was able to cover the entire 1 hour of the 1.5 hour of the presentation, and literally no questions, right? And towards the end, he said, "This is exactly what we wanted to hear, and this is something that we've been wanting to hear from your team for the last few months." And I said, "Thank you." Right. And then later, the account manager came, he got the feedback, and then he came and running and said, "This is the first meeting that person did not ask a question." He clearly communicated that he really wanted, he understood how things were, right? He understood what we can provide him in that particular context. And later we really won. He became a big champion. We won a big deal from that customer. It was an insurance client in North America. As we start believing in ourselves, as we start calming our mind, we get connected to the universal mind. We connect it to the one mind, which starts helping us. So you get into the flow, you become coherent with what the universe wants to help you with. And I think that's another fundamental principle of manifestation as well.
Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, everyone, and welcome to day 31 of the Sankalp session. I'm Apurva Murlidhar, and such a beautiful video. Magic happens when you believe in yourself. I think in my personal journey, I realized at one point that it was necessary to love myself, and I didn't have that love for myself. So, uh, the moment I realized that, it took me a while to understand why I didn't love myself. But when I started sitting in my meditation, I started saying to myself, I love myself, I believe in myself, I trust myself, I love the universe, I believe in the universe, I trust in the universe. And this became like a mantra for me. And it changed so much. For the first time in probably years, I looked at myself in the mirror and I didn't have anything bad to say to myself back. I realized that it was very important to become my own friend. So, with that realization, a lot changed for me. So, yes, of course, believing in ourselves can and change our lives. It can have magic happen, and I have experienced that. With that, I hand it over to Chandra sir for today's session. Good morning, sir.
Thank you, Apurva madam. These magics that are happening are the third shift that meditation brings. When we are sufficiently practicing long enough regularly, then we start becoming coherent with the field or becoming one with the field. So then you suddenly have access to this infinite intelligence. So the intelligence that you cannot discard. And so then you act with it. And intelligence is always, if you think that you're always acting with your intelligence to bring yourself to happiness, the greater intelligence is, of course, doing the same. It's not about being happy, it's about expanding your experience of life, not get stuck with something. That's what it's about. But whatever it is, the third shift does happen where we start seeing these spontaneous flows, miracles, change of life, many things that a way that you never thought about. Those are the words that we use. Unthinkable for me. I never thought I'd do. So to our fifth week, somewhere in the middle of it now. We're inching closer to the completion of 6-week program. Some, of course, and then most must be experiencing calmness. Some are slowly looking at the way they would make their assumptions to be in those reactive states and start looking at our assumptions of life, our belief systems, our behavioral patterns with our children, with colleagues, with the bosses. Start looking at them because now we have awareness, we start looking at them to see if there is a better way. Because the choice is also in our hand. There is a better way to respond, the better way to act in a given situation, the better way to think about somebody in a given situation, speak differently. Beginning of it sure happens if you're sincerely practicing. I say sincerely because I do know that many are not necessarily regular in this program. You know it, I know it. Meaning you are there maybe today, then many are there again 2 days later, 3 days later, some are there once a week. No problem. But keep at it. There is something that you like about it, so come back. But when you are able to increase your regularity to be almost daily basis, then you start seeing stronger awareness to choose a different response, think differently, feel differently, act differently, speak differently in a situation. It's called managing your emotion. Awareness of yourself and then management of yourself. Then management of others. Then being able to use all of it for something greater, a collective, greater experience, all of it are emotional intelligence. My daughter is running fever in the last 2 days, and so she's literally in the bed rest. Her bowel movements are also not necessarily that great, and so she had to go to bathroom, come back, bathroom, come back. She's pretty upset about like an youngster. She's not able to do things that she wanted to do, and then 2 days bed rest. Then I go and talk to her. And in the conversation, a little bit, and say, how are you doing? Okay, accept yourself. You said, Daddy, shut up. Not exactly that word, but say, don't give me an advice right now. I know everything about it and I know what to do. I just want to get through this. But her voice is well modulated. To say that here is someone that is figured out a way to be dealing with their emotion. They know what they're going through. They know how to express themselves. They do not necessarily need another advice. But instead, they just want to be heard. They just want to be there. If somebody is there, they want to be heard. So it is self-management of emotion. She's not necessarily feeling great. But at the same time, she's able to deal with the situation and then express to gain what you're looking for in that situation. The right tone, right voice. She didn't come across as arrogant. If she came across someone and said, I know everything what I'm going through. I just want you to be there. That's all. It's beautiful the children at that age are knowing what emotion they're going through and they're able to express it well, manage themselves well. Let's look at these aspects of emotional intelligence and then how it's impacting, of course, our leadership abilities. In research that Daniel Goleman and then many psychology professors, and there's researchers, and one of the research that they saw the performance of a team is directly proportional to the emotional intelligence of the leader, energy levels of the leader. If the leader is not that active, that not that happy, is irritating, or feels at loss, then the team is simply carrying their emotion, energy, and so then they're also not performing that great. If the leader is joyful, if the leader is caring, empathetic, and so they seem to automatically pick up and then perform, no matter how intelligent the other person is, but the leader seems to affect the room just by the way they're carrying their emotion. They're carrying sadness, grief, all of it. They may be dealing with themselves with something, but then it is affecting the performance of the teams, which we know at homes. When parents are in such way, children pick it up pretty quickly. And so it's about managing that emotion, becoming aware, and then managing that emotion appropriately. That intelligence, all of it is called emotional intelligence. It all starts with knowing what is my current emotion, knowing what are the triggers that cause me to be in a certain state, what triggers me anger, what triggers me anger. Just need to know and then look at situations and then see how can I have a different response for each of those situations. The traditional way. But with the meditation, a lot of this automatically come into our purview naturally. Meditation, mindful awareness of what we are going through, seems to be giving us the choices to behave differently, think differently, very, very naturally, very easily. So to understand this, posture meditation, relax yourself by practicing breath meditation. Yesterday was about Marika, inspired to bring together a group, to form a group, to form the United People, I think, is the organization, to bring together a group of people and then work towards a cause of increasing the energy levels just by bringing a group of people. That's initiative. She's in the perfect state of, in the emotional intelligence, the last cycle where you manage with your understanding, a group of people, rally people together for a cause, for a greater experience for yourself, for others. And we believe that everyone is going through meditation is becoming greatly emotionally intelligent. That means that everyone has the ability to rally for a greater cause. Rally yourself, rally people around you. That's also the very objective and purpose of this program, is that how can we give everybody best and greater and multiplied experience of their life in a way that they never thought that they would experience it today. And for all of it to happen, this wisdom and a regular practice is essential. Congratulations to each of us for going through it here. Another, not even 10 days left, now we are at 31. We crossed over beyond this 75% mark now. We are day 31 today? Yes. So, which means that we are definitely on the way towards a greater experience if you have not seen one. If you have not seen one, or gaining greater health, we're gaining greater intelligence just by understanding the research that exists, that your neurons are getting more and more, or the neuroplasticity of the brain is happening for it to learn more automatically if you regularly practice. Then you're becoming aware, you know what is difficult to change, and so you start becoming aware of those issues, their belief system, your thinking, and slowly changing. Top of the list is the 4 agreements. And so then we are continuing the journey to understand this emotional intelligence, which is one of the important aspects of managing ourselves and managing others. Because the thing with emotions was thought is that emotions happen pretty quickly, as opposed to thinking, cognitive capability. The conscious brain is responding from the conscious brain. The cognitive capability exists in response. It takes us some time to respond, put together information, and then decide and act, whereas the emotion from subconscious happens just like that. The subconscious mind, the limbic brain that is there in the middle of our entire brain region, the amygdala, is happening very, very quickly before you knew it. So we call it, being swept away with emotion. It happens so quickly that we need sufficient amount of awareness to be able to hold it. And that's happening when we are meditating. So let's go into the practice once again, dear friends. Relax yourself. Sit comfortably. We're doing breath meditation. Our goal is to be observing our normal, natural breath. We do this by closing your eyes and observing, resting our attention. Resting our attention on the nose, and then observe that natural breath that's going in and out. Each of us are breathing at least 15, 16 times a minute. And we're simply noticing that breath that's going in and coming out. Subtle awareness of the breath, subtle. We're not concentrating. We're just simply witnessing that, yes, I have breath. And yes, it is going in, it's coming out. That's all. If we do this subtle awareness of the breath or observe the breath slowly, mind is becoming less and less of thought, calmer, going into quieter states, empty states. Be in that state. We call all that states emptiness in my guidance and meditation. Become aware of the emptiness means that you're perhaps going through an energetic state, you're perhaps going through some kind of an experience of a vision or sensations, or many things may happen. When I use the word emptiness, become aware of the emptiness, is not necessarily that is one state of it. There's nothing around you. It's empty, dark, black, white, golden, whatever light. There's one state. Or then you're suddenly feeling energetic. There are sensations, movements, many things. Or you're seeing dreamlike states. They're all equal to emptiness. When you use the word, become aware of that emptiness means aware of whatever you as you walk down. If there are thoughts, then you go to the breath. So you know this drill. Just relax yourself. Sit comfortably. Okay, so let me just fix my voice. You say there is still a lot of static, Apurva?
Yes, so there's a lot of lag.
A lot of lag. Okay, can we play a track? Because I know I have internet channel this morning. Can you start a track, please, Sagar? At least for the meditation, we don't lag. Dear friends, dear masters, with your specs removed, eyes closed, keep your hands on your chest area and resting your attention on your beautiful heart. With a slow, long, relaxing breath, connect with your heart center. Feel it, dear friends. Notice the beat, the rhythm of your heart. Your inner knowingness. Feel the center of all emotions, nurturing all life with its higher vibrations of love, compassion, gratitude. Can you recollect an experience from your past? Or simply going into an experience of higher emotion? Imagine that you are experiencing great, beautiful nature. You're trekking into mountains. You're helping people in need. Relive that moment and feel that energy. And allow yourself to direct that energy onto everyone and everything on this planet to help them heal. Where your attention goes, there your energy flows. Relive that moment and feel that energy and spread that energy to everyone, to everything, or to those who are in need. The more you experience love, compassion, deep joy, the more coherent you become, the more connected you become. And slowly, let's go into breath mindfulness meditation. With your fingers into fingers, hands comfortably rested in your lap. Observe your normal, natural in breath and the out breath. We are going into powerful group meditation. Observe your normal, natural in breath and the out breath. With your attention at the root of your nose, when you observe your breath, your mind becomes less and less of thought. as your mind is becoming empty, allow yourself to experience that deeper calmness inside of you, all around you. Allow yourself to merge into your breath and allow yourself to experience emptiness, blackness. Where there's no body, where there's no thing. All emptiness is energy. The quantum field of infinite possibilities. The field of wholeness, the field of oneness. The longer you stay aware of this emptiness, this energy, the more you become of it, the more you receive from it. aware of the emptiness, that calmness, this field of energy, the field of creation. The more you are with it, with this emptiness, the more you tune in. For miraculous possibilities. The more expansive you become. If you find yourself distracted in thought, go back to observing your breath and allow yourself to go into that emptiness. This is your divine self, your greater mind. The more you are with it, the more whole you become, the more empowered you become. Friend, can you express gratitude to all things and everyone? Express gratitude to your parents for giving this beautiful connection to life. Be grateful to your teachers and mentors for expanding your knowledge and wisdom. Give thanks to everyone in your life, your family, friends, colleagues, relatives, partners, for helping you learn and experience many things. Be grateful to this grand nature, the fish, the bird, the animal, the planet, stars, sun, moon, Mother Earth, for all the energy, beauty, mystery, and more in our life. For gratitude to everything you use, the system, the company, the governments, the technology that supports our life in many, many ways. Gratitude to yourself for caring for you, for caring for others, and to this intelligent universe for helping us experience this life. Gratitude is the ultimate state of receivership. Recollect your experiences from the session. How did you feel? What have you seen? And whenever you're ready, you can keep your hands on your eyes for 5 seconds, and then you may open your eyes. Okay, dear friends. Hope you enjoy the session. So for the next few minutes, about 20 minutes, I would like us to make an intention to ourselves that as I'm going through this 20 minutes of talk, this is about emotions, emotional intelligence, and how I behave. So as you go through, and examples are being talked about or situations, pay attention to the thoughts that are coming to you. Close attention to the thoughts that are coming to you about your life. Become aware, and then at some point, maybe you'll be taking notes right then and there, or making notes at the end of it. Because we all go through emotions, we all go through situations in life. And if you want this to be very useful, we jot down, because what are those things that are really bothering us are the ones who surface up usually. So let me put up this concept of emotional intelligence. When somebody is very sharp, intelligent, and then when multiple people are applying for a job or any role, then perhaps the most intelligent person is getting it. But after you get into that role in an organization, whatever, you're coming into a group, then the growth within that group is really based on this concept of emotional intelligence. It's one of the leadership skills. There are two aspects: emotional intelligence, spiritual intelligence. If you master these, then our leadership skills are great. That means that you will have more multiplied experience of life. Otherwise, you will have less and contracted experience of life. While there are 5 here, awareness, it starts with awareness. Emotional intelligence means developing our abilities in these 5 areas: awareness about ourselves, expression, and inspiration. These are about managing ourselves, knowing ourselves and managing ourselves. Empathy is about how we manage others, how you deal with others around you. And engagement is your initiations to do greater experience, to experience something more bigger with the group. You lead better, then you are able to rally your team to deliver something that is unthinkable for the organization, which means that you're satisfied many clients, you grew the business. You do better. Normally, what would have been, just playing cards on a festival day, but then here you engage them, your family members together. You take them to a beautiful trekking trip to Pyramid Valley and then give them an experience that they'll never forget. So awareness is knowing about yourself, and this is like the monks are asked to always go and check themselves in mirrors, regularly reflect upon them. What others see is outside of you, but what you see is your own inner dialogue, inner chatter, inner emotion. Well, you have triggers. Suddenly, anger is coming up. You can write down, what are the reasons why I get angry? Maybe if people come late to the offices, then maybe you're angry. If people don't, if they say they do, but they drop it, maybe you get angry that time. That's a trigger. They say they will do, but they don't do. A lot of times. You're in volunteering at Buddhase Foundation. Many people come with the beautiful intention of wanting to do something, volunteering. But then slowly we see sometimes suddenly they drop. They say, but they don't. And so then the work suffers. But then, however, if that is a trigger, then for anger, of course, it is irritating or whatever is a trigger for anger, then those working in a service organization will have to be having the trigger all the time. So you need to understand what are the triggers that cause you to go into a certain emotion. Suddenly go into a guilt. What is the trigger for going into guilt? Somebody's talk about their problems may make you go into guilt because a problem, or let's say about a relationship with a spouse or a problem they're bringing up with a child. It brings you back a memory of something that caused you the trigger, the behavior. When you identify what are those triggers, if you look into them, then of course, then you're dissolving them slowly. Half the job is done, you try to identify. And so the first thing is to be able to look into ourselves. What are our judgments? What are our reactions? And all of it. And every moment. And then, of course, this requires us to pause in the situation. We talked about this. Awareness is the first thing that is happening when we are meditating regularly. So when you know what is this trigger, what is the trigger, when you know what are those past judgments you're carrying about an individual that perhaps is causing the trigger, then you are suddenly have this greatest freedom to stop, pause. If you know in that situation about a reason why you're getting the trigger, that means you already have the control to think about something in that moment than to simply already react and walk away. And so this pausing and then leading to a conscious choice or acting is the greatest freedom that one has. Because you now are choosing consciously. We are very unconscious of many unconscious behaviors that we have, very unconscious. We don't even know why we're behaving certain way. With meditation, we become slowly conscious of our unconscious behaviors. Then you have an ability to change, so you become slowly conscious of your conscious behaviors. At some point, you become unconscious of a conscious behavior. That means something good. You automatically are doing the right thing, and it becomes a new program. So the big thing in self-awareness, which is happening just by regular meditation. Without meditation, this is one of the most difficult things to become aware of knowing what is happening in a moment. We are launching a series of leadership programs called Beyond the Known from Be Supermind, which talks about leadership essentials are there about knowing how to delegate, how to communicate, how to strategize, execute. But then knowing the person doing it is the key for them to express those knowledge appropriately in the right time. And so that's meditation-based program. To know and then express it appropriately. A lot of times here is what happens. If you don't know, and then if you make assumptions based on your past experiences, and then perhaps you're limiting yourself with that understanding there. Your assumption was there that the customer escalation is coming, and you know that you have a new solution, but then assumption is that whenever I try to change something, the clients are resisting, sales is resisting, delivery is resisting, and so I can't do it. That's your assumption. And so you act based on assumption that, okay, nobody can help here because nobody is cooperating. And then you also try to take your own simple stand of it's not me, it is somebody else who is not cooperating. And then you act that way. You based on your past. So that is your limitation. You had a past experience of somebody not agreeing to do the change, but that becomes a limitation. And so then you stop yourself from actually dealing and giving a solution. The first thing in this entire leadership is for anyone to have a greater intelligence is about emotional intelligence, is about knowing about their feelings, their judgment, their reactions, their assumptions, conclusions about people, places, situations, about themselves. You're feeling guilty suddenly. Now you are aware. And if you can step back and say, what is that? Why are you feeling guilty? And when you feel guilty, then suddenly you're giving up whatever you're doing. And then you are just withdrawing and come home. And then you just go and then say, hey, my mood is not that good. Let me just go in and then have my own time. And that causes children, I don't know, people at home to be worried because their mood is reflecting into others. But the reason for guilt, maybe some colleague triggered something which triggers your memory of maybe 3 months ago, 6 months ago, 6 years ago. He did something. And that caused an impact to somebody losing a job. And so that suddenly comes back to you and say, how could I do it? How could I do it? And then see somebody going through such a significant suffering and say, go into the guilt trip. Now, what do you do if you become aware of it? If you're not aware, you go into the guilt trip. If you're aware, then at least now knowing that my past I cannot change, but I can change my future by being different in the present. And so they choose something different. If I don't behave, if I don't choose a different response, now I start giving the same feeling and emotion to my children, my people at home. you come to that understanding, and so different act. So that pause is essential, awareness is essential, dear friends. And so the moment we have this difference, what's happening is that we are gaining great confidence about ourselves. It's about managing, it's about knowing you, what is that going through in your life. And the moment we know, and the moment we start pausing, and the moment you start taking a different action, then you become more confident about yourself. Until that time, when we are losing our temperament, when we are just going into guilt trip, when you are just frustrated, when we are feeling lonely, and all of these things that are there, then generally we are very, very low on our self-worth. But this starts changing just by having this awareness. How many people feel that way? That you got better awareness now, where there are many tougher situations. Even, most of the time, people don't have good relation with their bosses or the company. Most of the time. But then now, with this emotional awareness, and then when you don't have good relation with the company or the bosses, then of course we have a certain default behavior. But now you know the default behavior making you low on emotion. But that's it, you will start recognizing and say, why should I go low on emotion? You start learning now. And if I go low on emotion, I perpetuate that and I can experience more of it. And so immediately you start becoming aware to arrest it by moving into walking. You go into start playing some music. You go into a good friend who gives you better talk. Not sympathize with you to give you a different solution. This is what you do. So, dear friends, see, having awareness is developing a greater confidence into ourselves, increase our self-worth, because we know you got a handle on it. And that moves you suddenly into a higher vibration. That means you start changing, and so you start expressing a different emotion, different signature around you for people to start getting lifted up. If you are confident, you allow others to have the confidence, not otherwise. If you are fearful, you're simply going to rub the fears onto others. If something is bringing you fear, and then you continue to be in the fear, then that's the fear, that emotion goes to others, and so they also become fearful. Whatever we have is what we give. So the first thing, dear friends, is reaction to response. Everything is around here, centered around here. And the best way to develop this is meditation. The other way, for example, is to write down what are those triggers that cause me to go into a certain lower emotion, which is not necessarily what I enjoy. And so then write down and then identify and then remind yourself of it again and again and again. The whole neuroscience behavioral reprogramming. Do the same thing again and again and again, so that then slowly and slowly and slowly you will change. The second thing is about expression. Now, once you understand yourself, then you are regulating or managing yourself. Managing yourself, number one, is a lot of times in expressing yourself, and then second is also what actions you take. Expression, what kind of thoughts you have. You change the thought, your speech, you change your speech, express differently, and then your actions also change. What can I do in a situation? How can I just still continue to carry on with my work that I need to do? When you understand what can I do, and this is what my control, this is not in my control, a certain way of doing things. You go forward, your actions are different. When somebody gave you a nasty comment in your review, your earlier action, you take it too personally. And so then you didn't have awareness. And so then you say, okay, here you go. Somebody is trying to exploit me. Somebody is going to just, put me down. And that's why they're doing it. And this person is always like that. And your action at that point is to immediately drop what you're doing, go for a coffee, call your friends, and then call your family, tell them, this is what is happening. I don't like it. I have to leave this job, this and that. That's your action, default action. Now it changes now. I understand it. It's not personal. Okay, fine. Even if they have that intention, my happiness is with me. My job, let me be objective. That's their opinion, their story. My story is different. I feel I've done this right. I'll talk about this to my management or whatever. And then you continue to do your work. A Sufi master's flute is self-expression is about, being truthful to yourself, to express its truth. A flute plays beautifully, but it has to be emptied. It has to become calmer. And it sings because it wants to express. This is an analogy. And so the second thing, dear friends, is that self-expression is about being very truthful to yourself and expressing what you believe is right. The inner guidance, inner system is not happy if you are just suppressing things. A lot of times we suppress because we are not confident about ourselves. Because we are losing, we don't have a good temperament. We suddenly change, our emotions change because somebody triggers, that somebody blames us and say, because of you, our family is like this. And so that goes, takes you into an emotional low. And so then you can't express it. That emotional low suddenly makes you feel like you have to walk away or do something out of control. And so then you're not confident about you. And so expression is not there. Or in other words, you have some kind of fear of how you will deal with yourself in a group. And so we withdraw. But self-expression, with awareness, when you change yourself, you become a little high in your self-esteem, then you are a little more courageous to start expressing. You say, wait a minute, I must, if I don't like what something, and if I don't express it, I can't keep it. Holding my emotion is burning me inside. It's like holding in a burning coal in your hand. You close your fist, but it's going to slowly burn your hand. You know that, burn your palm. The same thing, that emotion that is not expressed burns us inside and then leads towards all kinds of illnesses. It must be released. And so now you understand that truth. And so but then you need courage. And then meditation is building a lot of courage, dear friends. Self-expression is about being truthful, authentic, and then expressing that. It's not about arguing and then not about proving points. It's about just simply going and then sitting there in a most balanced posture, expressing and say, hey, look, I know you gave this comment, but you could tell me differently. I know this came, and what is your true intention? If it's all you require is me to change this, then I'll be happy to do it. If you're just having that courage to have that dialogue with that person who you try to avoid because they try to expose you thought, changes a lot of things, equations. Just you being very balanced and expressing is different than shouting at somebody and say, how mindlessly you're doing it. Why do you do like that? Why can't you tell me separately? The voice itself is different. So gaining a balance in expression is possible when you feel you're in control of emotion. That's why self-awareness is there. And so, dear friends, we express it in balance. And then we pursue it again. We recognize that once expressing is not sufficient. You ask for a pay hike, you ask for something, you ask for a job change, but then the pressures of your manager or the system is not letting them take action. But then you come to your greatest conclusion, rather than judging yourself and then judging that, okay, oh, they didn't care about me, then here you pursue a sue. And you're going back again. Maybe they have enough challenge for themselves. And so then you go back again, express again without feeling rejected. That's self-expression. Persuasion is part of a self-expression. Putting positive pressure, it's called. Not with arrogance, not with overconfidence you're talking, but you're putting a lot of positive pressure by pursuing again and again an appropriate time. The one-on-ones, you make sure you have it regularly, rather than just leaving it and coming to a conclusion, oh, he didn't care, he didn't bring it up, and so that means he's not interested, let me not talk about it. If something is important, something is truthful that is important to you, you may bring it up. So being truthful to your feelings is self-expression. And then when you have courage, you can do it. When you're confident about you can do it about your emotion. And so then these two go hand in hand. You manage. You're not arguing, dear friends. And so it's about, instead of managing people, managing situations, trying to satisfy somebody, pleasing people, we go into being more integral, authentic about ourselves. If you don't like, I want to express it differently. And I've seen this in my son. Beautiful conversations happening between mom and him, or sometimes me and him. He says, I get it, but I don't like the way you expressed it. But then he talks about it very, very nicely. Just comes, sits down, and then talks about it in a very, very controlled tone. I know he's going to be a very emotional, intelligent person. So you don't manage, oh, okay, now Parents are unhappy, so let me just not bother about it and then just do what they're asking. Let me just do it, and so you may get done with it. That's managing. But instead, you may do in that moment an action like that, but then you are taking an opportunity later, because first there you might acknowledge the feelings as an expression. Expression is also acknowledge the feelings first, but then later you're definitely taking an opportunity to sit down to express in a balanced tone. That's self-expression. It does come when you regularly meditate, because then you meditate, all this knowledge we are understanding is coming to use at the right time. That's what meditation does, is to make you be aware, and so then give you the choices that you're making. There is a beautiful book by Dr. Joe Dispenza about breaking the habit of being yourself, is to how to change your habit. The habit is with respect to emotional management, with respect to judgment of somebody or something, how to change your habit. And it's all about reprogramming subconscious, and then how meditation helps, and then how this change can be brought. You must read this book. It's one of the recommended books, Breaking the Habit of Being Yourself. So the third thing, dear friends, and here we go pretty quickly now, inspiration. The second aspect of expression is about managing yourself, knowing yourself and managing yourself. Now this one is also about managing yourself. You express, you change your thinking, you express differently. Now you're more persuasive, you're more balanced, you are becoming more authentic, truthful about yourself. You're not trying to suppress things. You know, a tough person is there in your colleague. Somebody is very tough. You don't have the courage to tackle that person. And so then you simply not bother. You just ignore the issues that are there. Because if you bring them up, then sadly it might impact your performance. Sadly, you have to face with that person. It's too aggressive in a meeting, in a group. And so they gets to know that you brought up that issue, then they will not be happy. They'll be very upset. You can't deal with it. You simply manage it. Managing is that way too, ignoring, sweeping things under the carpet. But when you are meditating, when you are developing confidence about you, when you are becoming more aware of your emotion, your internal guidance is telling you to be more truthful, because that's our human nature. The nature is to be truthful. And so then you muster the courage to go and then say, okay, I'm going to deal with it later, but first I need to inform the right people, and you do it. That's so important. That's how organizations get better. That's how groups get better. And so then the third thing, dear friends, that is expression. The other thing is, after expressing, what can you do? What can you do? And this whole thing is about carrying on with your work, not getting distracted, deviated, because you're not taking things too personally. And then when we express something, and typically if you express, you are able to deal with that issue and resolve that issue. So you start becoming joyful. You start gaining what you want. If you express balanced with balanced tones about why you need an extra resource, not to take too personally when there's somebody rejected, and then you're persuasive, you will get that resource in due course. That's how you create, right? You manifest that way. You manifest by putting your attention on what you want over and over, as opposed to putting your attention on what you don't want. What do we do? A lot of times you want a resource, you go to the management, then they say no. Then you say, yeah, last year I did this, they rejected it. I don't think they're going to do it again. That's your limitation. Your experience became a limitation now. That's your limiting belief, conditioned response. And so you stop asking. That means your attention now is on why they don't do, as opposed to still continue to pursue on you wanting a resource. And so expression is a way to put your attention on what you want. And so then if you do that, then you get what you want. And so naturally, you're going to be more and more happy and joyful. When you're more joyful, you are, of course, then that's what is called experiencing what's important. You are focusing on what is important to you objectively. And so then you're joyful. That means you're more inspired with the life, inspired with work, because you're slowly making a change in your life by focusing on things that are important for you. And so then they come into you, and so then you're happy. Suppose somebody is very, very, for them, they're going to a gym or going to a marathon or run on a weekend is very important. They take the time, they express about it to their family, and then tell them, look, these 2 hours, I have to play my tennis. And then they pursue, and express it, they take it, and they get it, and they're just joyful. Then you are inspired. Even if you do your passion a little bit, we know it. If you're pursuing your passion a little bit, that fills you up with so much joy and happiness that it carries you for the rest of the day. And dear friends, when we are joyful, and then of course, then we are paying our whole efforts. We are doing best work. We're performing best work. Listen to a speech by Steve Jobs called "Connecting the Dots." He did to Stanford graduates and the graduating ceremony a few years ago. Talks about finding what you really like, because that's what keeps you going. And when you do what you like, then of course you're going into the detail, you're going into the flow, you perform your best. So dear friends, so self-accountability, you take self-accountability because you love anyway the life, and so then you take accountability. When you take accountability, you become manager's delight, then you're inspiring others. When the company is going through a big escalation, you have seen it objectively, you are very calm. You look at situation, okay, people are blaming, but what can I do if I blame? It's only going to get worse. You're getting back and say, what can I do in the current situation? You go back calmly, you're working. That inspires people. You're working calmly. Then somebody comes and says, there's only AI, there's only job market, there's only layoff issues going on. How can you be calm? And we heard this from our masters. And so, dear friends, you become you essentially become inspired. When you are inspired, then here is what's happening. When you start living to your passions or doing things you like, and that energy is carrying to the whole day, and slowly, slowly doing and loving whatever you do in that day. 8 hours, maybe 1 hour is very interesting work to you, but something that's very interesting, you claimed it. When you do that in a week, that weekend 2 hours you spend for yourself is most satisfying. If you do that different, that energy is carrying you to start liking everything else you do in the day. And so then this whole inspiration is we move us from a state of, okay, I only do what I love to do, to love what you do. We move into this state, have a better understanding. Slowly, slowly. This also comes by increasing the third shift that happens, where you start becoming more whole oriented. You no longer just look for yourself. In the beginning, you're only looking for your interest in you, but slowly, slowly, as much as you ask for your interest to be experienced, you're also looking and saying, what is my team interest? What's my colleagues want? Why is it I always want the best project, best thing, best? Why is it I always want the maximum hike? What about others then? They also need hikes, and a company only has so much pool. Can I be letting it go for the benefit of others? You slowly come into that. That'll also slowly make you go into loving what you do. And the fourth thing, dear friends, is about now managing others. This is where you become greatly empathetic. Empathy and emotional intelligence is to understand others from their point of view, not from your point of view. If you have a deadline, but then you are just so focused just on that, and then nothing else mattered, people are not able to deliver, you still are focusing, pushing, zero empathy. Recognizing and understanding, stepping back, and then looking at it and say, why is this person continuing to deliver, not fail? Why is this person continuing to come late to office? Why is this person not able to learn what is being given again and again? And then having those, one-on-ones, having those friendly conversations are helping to put yourself in other shoe, to know the real problem. Basically, here is where you dig into the real issues of why things are not necessarily happening. That's empathy, thinking others from their point of view, putting yourself in other shoe. That's what we call the expression. And this is happening by intellectual reasoning, by knowing that everybody is a mirror. So there is a social empathy, but there is something called spiritual empathy, to recognize that others are simply part of you. Meditation develops plenty of this empathy. There's one thing that greatly develops and then sets apart a leader from others, because a lot of times leading a team is about being empathetic to become a great friend to somebody. And then that requires the meditation builds a spiritual empathy, a great connection to others, not as separate. And so suddenly you are, as much as your goals are important, your deadlines are important, your bonus is important, but you are very empathetic in a way you're considerate to others. You're looking to inspire them than to push them. And if not, you're ready to let go whatever they're looking for now till maybe next quarter, whatever, for the next thing. Empathy. And so the big thing here, dear friends, is allowing failures to happen. This is where you stop judging, you stop complaining. Instead, you are essentially accepting people from their points of view, looking at them. I'm not saying that you just accept everybody from their point of view. Of course, you're assessing them. If they're being careless, if they're not sincere, if their attitudes are more of arrogance, of course, then you are tackling them with the right self-expression, whether courageously expressing them to them that know what is accepted, not acceptable. But you're first empathetic, though. So when you are empathetic, dear friends, then you gain a lot of confidence and trust with the colleagues, with the family members, with their group. So that means you started becoming a good leader. Empathy, organizations have a beautiful concept of one-on-ones. One must take time. So this is the phase where what is in it for me is moving towards what is in it for others. How can I help others? Rather than always thinking, how can I benefit in every situation? How can I help in any given situation? How many of you today in your organization, in your group, if somebody is not able to catch up with their work, you're offering help to them? That is one of the great leadership capability, offering help to others in your team sometimes before you even do your work. What is in your control, you can do anytime. What is to do with others, you have to do when they're there with you. So how many of you now start offering that help with others to help them to perform their work? Not only yours, but also start giving the time for others. This is empathy. You are looking from and say, how can I help others in this situation? Then just simply you benefit. And then you say, I got free time. Let me just go and then learn one more skill, one more skill, one more skill. But instead you also choose or see and say, okay, I can learn the skill, but let me see who's falling behind, right? And so there's empathy. And the last one difference is social initiatives and engaging. And when you are becoming a leader, naturally with empathetic response, you're inspiring them with your sincere commitment. You're inspiring them, even though challenges are there, you're able to focus on what you need to do, attending to what is important to you, and you're able to focus. That inspires. You are reliable, you're trustworthy. And so when these things are there, and automatically, when you become trustworthy, when you are having sufficient skill in the job, number one, then you can be dependable. That means you don't give up halfway through, keep coming and saying, hey, I can't do it. Even if you can't, you inform early. That is dependability. First, you demonstrate that you have the skill. Second, you are dependable. That means you are communicating appropriately. And so then then somebody develops trust in you, not otherwise. And so when those are happening, and so dear friends, when you become a natural leader, with the empathetic responses, and so then you have a greater opportunity to do larger initiatives. Rather than complaining, you actually take things into your hand and say, oh, things are very boring. Okay, let's do something. Let's do something together. So rally them for common activities, group activities. Processes that are very difficult in organization. Okay, how about you take initiative and then bring it up with our top senior management coming next month? You take initiative. You have a conversation, you bring a conversation with the top senior leader, with the team members, so that in case any apprehensions are there, maybe it is an apprehension, maybe it's a communication issue, you be the bridge between them. And so, dear friends, initiatives we take and become a leader. From follower, we become a leader. And meditation is naturally increasing the listening skills. If you have listening skills, you become a great leader. You feel the responsibility for everybody. When do you feel responsibility? When you feel that they and us together are in this journey to achieve the purpose that you have. You're more purpose-oriented, focused towards what's important for you. A lot of times here in my companies I've played there, politics are played. You forget why you came into an organization, keep playing the politics. And so lose track of the very purpose of why you're here. Maybe you're there to learn, maybe there to earn, maybe there to create something new. One of those 3, 4 reasons. But instead of forgetting that, because somebody is playing politics, you also go into playing politics, manage people, satisfy their egos, or simply non-cooperative situations that you handle because they didn't do, that group I can't do, my manager doesn't like, so you also stop you doing non-cooperative moments. By doing so, what happens? Neither you grow, nor the organization grows, nor the team grows. And who suffers? We suffer. 5 years later, what did you learn? Nothing. Where are you? Not necessarily a great place. So we become more purposeful when meditation is there because you start living your truth. It start giving that guidance from inside and say, hey, this is why you are here. It constantly guides you towards what's important to you. And so becoming dear friends, a natural leader with meditation. So these 5 capabilities of emotional intelligence are beautifully developed when we regularly meditate as it builds our awareness. And then, of course, we must also decide to change in situations. We have to have the decision. You got to make your own intention and say, I'm willing to change. I'm willing to do differently in my company in my current role. You got to be ready. If you say, no way I can change, no way things are going to change, no way my spouse is going to change, he is just too difficult, or he just doesn't listen at all. If you are carrying that impression, then you're not ready to change. But you got to have a great intention that I want to change. Then, coupled with meditation, different than you're changing. Thank you very much for joining. I know it's a little late. It's an important topic. We want to bring it up. We've got a few days. We got more sharings coming. Tomorrow, we have. Yesterday, we heard about a group initiative and how to make this place better. And we all, in our own little way, can contribute. And I was reading a story about a bus driver, how he was engaging with everybody and lifting people up. Bus drivers, what are they supposed to do? Simply drive and then take people from place to place and be done. That's all the organization expects them of to do. But he's got a great purpose and say, if I'm getting in touch with somebody, how can I make their life lively that day, that moment? That's all. So you just engage in activity conversations. You recognize if people are a little low, then make them cheerful. By the time they get off the bus, they're happy and joyful. That's purpose. Thinking that I'm helpless, I'm powerless is not the way. If you have a reason to believe that you can make a change, then of course you can make a change. That's what America is doing. We'll understand how Maharshi Mahesh Yogi University is doing a lot of research to say that when people think of bringing a change, they can bring the change. And when a group comes together, they significantly impact the world. And we'll understand some wisdom from them and how meditation is playing a great role in all of it tomorrow. So thank you very much. As Apurva Madam, any announcements?
Yes, sir. Today we are having 2 book clubs. One at 8:15 a.m. To 9:15 a.m. IST, and one at 8 p.m. to 9 p.m. So these two are going to talk about mind to matter. So please join the book clubs. They are extremely helpful, and these books help us understand about our own selves much better. So, yes, that is the announcement for today, sir. And, sir, today's topic that you shared kind of helped me navigate my own uh, challenge that I'm going through right now. So, thank you so much.
Awesome. Wonderful. Thank you, friends. It'll be always emotional intelligence is a powerful topic. Daniel Goldman and then Bernie Siegel and then many, many professors at, whether it is Scott Peck, many psychologists, many, many books are there. Let's pick some book and read and then know more about it, right? Some of these others have done some amazing work around this. And so read and enrich ourselves. Meditation, of course, and all of this wisdom that we learn is making a big shift too. If you have an intention to change, if you don't conclude that this system, this company, this person, this situation cannot change. If you have that, nobody can help because your intention always manifests. Thank you very much. And it'll be good to know after a short break, anybody has examples of how they improved through this meditation and these programs. Have a wonderful day.
before me, gratitude behind me, gratitude to the left of me, gratitude to the right of me, gratitude above me, gratitude below me, gratitude within me, gratitude all around me. I'm so grateful, I'm so grateful, I'm so grateful.
Awesome. Okay. Yes, ma'am. Do you have any questions?
Sir, we have one second, sir.
Somebody want the last slide. What is my
Yeah.
last slide? Last slide is about initiatives. You know, when you want these slides, you can always go back to the video and then you can take a screenshot of the video. You know that. Okay. But this is my last slide, which is same as the first slide. The 5 areas of emotional intelligence. Yes. I'm going to keep it for another 10 seconds. Go ahead, madam. What is the questions you have?
Sir, Sumita ji is saying Namaste. Truly grateful to this program, which has made me become self-aware, but not able to be self-confident and express well in a group. Doing meditation regularly, which is definitely helping. Any other suggestions? Sir, you are on mute.
Oh. Choose a group of friends where you start expressing. There's always a first for anything. That fear, the lack of confidence. How do you tackle fears? You jump in to do that once. Muster all your courage. And then jump in to do that once. And then there are all these forces are there to help you because you have a strong intention to go and then experience something different. So you jump in to do, muster the courage. You know, to have serious, what do I say? Fear. When I was going in and then standing in front of these all top bureaucrats in government offices, as part of selling a product. And then, you know, especially go to government office, they'll have this big round table and everybody sits around. And then you're trying to go there and then we stand up there and then talk about your product. It's something, you know, that confidence, you know, will I do right? And all this mental dialogue. When I decided, and then you know, how do you tackle fear? You got to go. Only one time you're doing. The first time is when you got to challenge yourself with a lot of confidence and say, okay, what's the worst thing that's going to happen? What's the worst thing that's going to happen? You understand why the fear is coming. The worst thing is that maybe they're going to judge you. The worst thing is that you lost that opportunity, that meeting did not impress them, or whatever that you're doing. A lot of times it's about fear of looking bad, fear of failure. You can ask yourself the question, what if you really miserably fail? Okay, they judge you. So what is going to happen? What's going to happen? If you know that you are the one who's creating your experience of the future, not somebody else, and so then you know that then you can, even if somebody judges you, but your future is in your hand, and so there's no bother. And so just jump in with that understanding, with all the courage and say, I'm going to do great today. Your intention moves you into that greatness. And so rather than saying, oh, I don't know what's going to happen, I think definitely people are going to ask me questions. I will get stuck here, freeze here. If you go into that, then that's what you create. So go with a courageous intention, jump in, and I tell you the forces are there to help you. The force means the field is there to help you. And then you come out in flying colors. One time you do, that is over. There's only one first, right? And second turnout is not there. So what do? You go into groups. You know, a lot of people come into service. When I came into service, I'll tell you, my public speaking how improved. If you are serving and then suddenly Patriji called me, and I was just attending an event, he just called me onto the stage. Tell you what, in that event, That's on Christmas Day, December 25th of one of those Dhyana Yagam events. 50,000 people are there, right there in front. He said, okay, Chandra, now speak and share your experience. Suddenly in front of 50,000 people, you speak right there. But you know that he is a person who is very, very highly tolerant. He knows and is very highly empathetic. He doesn't care whether you did a beautiful expression or a fumbled expression. All he needs is some expression. He knows that if you are there, and then he's very supportive in the energy. And so you go and speak because you're not worried about whether you're making a mistake, this and that. And so when you choose the right environment, automatically you come out of these fears, many of them. You need to choose a company. Choose the right company. And when you choose the right company who will not judge you, who will support you, and everybody in this forum is very, very supportive. I want to know, is there anybody here who feels like, oh, how come somebody is talking like this still? Are they still talking like, are they still judging like that? Anybody here, do you think? This group, nobody. So that's why I encourage people to just come out and share, because nobody judges you. It's a safe space. So I'm asking that you find a safe space of people where you can express. And that is a group of meditators often. And you get that plenty when you are coming into service. And you do two things here. One, you're improving personality development happening greatly, while you're also impacting a lot many people by giving meditation, a lot more fulfilling it is. Let's make a decision. Next one.
So Sangeeta Ma'am has one sharing and one question. So I'll read out the sharing. Since I started meditation, somehow I started thinking ahead about my reaction when I interact with my crew. This is one of the sharing that she has done. And one question she has is, meditation is helping me in many ways. Somehow at times I love to eat more food, though I know I am full. How to stop it? Even though I or we know that I or we are full, how to use to meditation here? Thanks.
You don't do anything, madam. See, our behaviors today are based on our past conditioning, so it'll continue to happen. Your actions you can't control, but your understanding is developed, your awareness is more and more developed. So just keep working at it. You know, how to behave right now is based on what your feeling is telling you. Just follow it. But keep increasing your awareness, keep increasing your understanding. That means keep learning and then keep meditating. Just keep doing it. Okay. Learn more around what is that eating more, not eating more, so what's happening. Learn more around if you eat less, how beautiful it is by practice. Many things like that. Learn more about vegetarian diet and a vegan diet, many things that will slowly slowly inspire you, right? Eating moderate, learn more. So if many things are there, but keep learning and keep meditating, but your current behavior is based on your feeling. All right. Doing what you're doing is based on your feeling, but knowing is different. Slowly, your knowing will come to doing at some point. It'll happen. It's a natural progression. Learning to doing to being is a natural progression. So, for example, shouting at your children is not right. You know it. Now you're building awareness. You're reading little more ways. You're listening to others' experiences. That fills you with inspiration. But in that moment, you had to do something, and so you're doing it. You had to shout because your feeling is that this is the way to express and you're doing it. So be it now. Let it happen because your feeling strongly is to just do and do it. It's okay. You can't stop. If you don't express your emotion, then you're holding your emotion, then you're doing a lot more disservice to yourself. You gotta let go. It's like holding that fire in your hand, the burning coal in your hand. Bhagavad Gita, the Duryodhana, has got a beautiful statement. Janami dharmaha nachame pravrittihi, janami adharmaha nachame nivrittihi. The Duryodhana is saying, Janami dharmaha nachame pravrittihi. I know dharma, Krishna. I know dharma. When Krishna is asking, what Duryodhana? They gave up everything. They just want one village. You're not able to give that village also. What's wrong with you? Nandira is saying, I know what is dharma, Krishna, but then I'm not able to do nachame pravrittihi, I'm not able to do. Janami adharmaha, I know what is adharma, nachame nivrittihi, I'm not able to not stop from doing it. Because his character is that, his guna is that. So you can't change the guna. He has to go on learning, and he's got to do more and more meditation, more learning, and slowly, slowly it'll change. But it'll change. But the point there, in a beautiful way that is said in Bhagavad Gita, that great Indian scripture, the textbook of spirituality, of meditation, of life, is to express what you feel, but keep knowing what is a better way to feel, better way to do. Keep knowing. That's why it's so important to read all the books and continue to accept the way you are. Accept the way you are. Okay, you just, you have to attend the program, but then you miss it because your body is telling you to sleep, you slept. You're carried with your conditioned body. And you don't, just be unreasonable on yourself and say, how stupid I was. Why did I not do it? Why did I not do it? I could not do. It only comes in a quarter. It's okay. Accept yourself. All right. So then things will change, madam. So it will change in due course for you. Don't rush into doing things. Next.
So there's a question from Anmol Haq. I have one question. In last 40 days meditation program, I was feeling that the meditation was so powerful for me. During the meditation, I could see many things, lights and feelings. But during this time, I'm missing all this. The feeling visuals are not that powerful. But there are few other developments in my day-to-day life. My emotion and thought process become changed, but I miss that feelings during meditation. What should I do?
Why are you craving for an experience of that nature at all? Your experiences in meditation have nothing to do with how you're going to change your life. We don't crave for anything. Why should that experience come? Why are you getting attached to that? The whole idea of meditation is to get detached. And one of them is these meditation experiences. You're not great, your meditation is not great just because your experience. Your meditation is not any less just because you don't have experience in meditation. Recognize that you tuning into the field, to the emptiness, means you're tuning into that intelligence. What is necessary for you is anyway coming into you, and then it gets expressed appropriate time during a wakeful time. That's what you're already saying. There are a few other developments in my day-to-day life. My emotions and thought process are becoming changed because you're already seeing that benefit. That means that intelligence is playing out. So which is good. That's all is required. Experiences, we don't crave for them. If they happen, enjoy them. If they don't happen, it's okay. But if you inspire yourself with more and more reading, read the book of Play of Consciousness by Muktananda. But then Muktananda had these beautiful experiences because he had this greatest surrenderness to his guru, the teacher, who he thought is consciousness. He has sincerity. And so then he started having something very, very beautiful for months. So if you do the right things will happen. So how do I get into an experience? When I keep reading and knowing more about it. If you know more about this field, then you are in the awe of it. Tapaha swadhyaya ishvara pranidhanena kriya yogaha. For a practitioner, if they want more and more beautiful experience and then be in touch with the field, to know and then hear, experience it more, then you do these three. Tapaha swadhyaya ishvara pranidhanena. Tapaha, reduce the needs of the body. Less sleep, less food. Can you? Less sleep, less food, less everything with the body. Then Swadhyaya, read more about knowing more about it through the books of Play of Consciousness. Many, many masters, teachers there. Swami Vivekananda about Yoga Sutras. Many, many gurus have written. Vivekananda, Patanjali Yoga Sutras. He explains his narrative. Read more about that thing. Swadhyaya. Third is read more and listen more of others' experience. The third is Ishvara Pranidhanena. Be in the awe of that existence, that creation, that power, that intelligence. Meaning, constantly contemplate what is it out there? How is it possible that all these galaxies, things, how is it possible this body is doing this way? What is the cause of my experience? Many, many things you think about, you contemplate, as well as know more about this grand intelligence. Then you slowly are moved into it. Okay. Contributing to others' welfare, contributing this to everybody's to see, then that's how you develop oneness into it. Knowing the whole, contemplation of the whole is also to feel the wholeness here. Can you feel the wholeness here first? You want to feel the wholeness there. It works both ways. The more whole you feel by serving others, by volunteering in an organization, serving others, the more you lessen your problems, you start coming to, they're so small. And so then you start feeling one with everyone and say, okay, no problem. I can deal with my problem easily because there are so many people struggling even bigger. So then you're less separate, you're more whole. And then that is one of the ways of you knowing the whole. Your meditation moves into your wholeness experience. Okay. So experiences, if you want them to be improved, do these three: tapaha, swadhyaya, ishvara pranidhanena. Ishvara pranidhana is beautifully happening of knowing and thinking and feeling and being an awe of the whole when you start serving a lot to everyone that you come across. Have that intention to serve. Yes.
So there's one question from Swati Rajan. Can meditation and manifestation help in changing astrological predictions related to life events or predictions about yours or your loved ones? I'm a believer, but how do we completely eliminate any negative thoughts based on these predictions?
By experimenting. By experimenting. All sciences are there. Astrological predictions are there, but everything, remember, is at that point, and everything can be changed, and everything is changing constantly. So when somebody makes a plan of doing a 3-month, a 15-day travel, the plan is there that day. The plan may work, may not work, and there are a lot of situations you have to take into account. Sudden rains come, sudden traffic jams are there, suddenly you miss an appointment of doing, then you make an alteration. So it's like that. Everything is possible to change. Your power of your energy is infinite. You are the whole consciousness. When you come to that understanding with meditation, everything shifts, madam. So experiment. Experiment. When they said this is not the right thing for it's going to worse, it'll happen. If there's no rationale for it, and you have a strong feeling towards it, go on and experiment. Do regular meditation. Know that your reminiscence of past thinking may still make you a little bit of make you fail there, but don't stop there, because your present is based on your past thinking and past conditioning. But your future will change based on your present thinking. So continue to pursue. Not one event, a few times you pursue, you'll start seeing a shift in the way you experience life based on your thinking. That's the beginning of change. Right? So don't worry about this negative thinking. It'll come, because if your years of conditioning cannot be just removed in overnight. That fear will be there. But you must experiment, though. That's the only way to move into the new. You know the science now of creation. You know you are the center of your creation. You know you are infinitely powerful. Then utilize that. And then use that energy and the knowledge, and then continue to create. Now, every now and then the doubt comes. But that will go away in due course with more meditation and then more experimentation, where you start gaining events into your life the way you thought. And so slowly, slowly it'll shift. It'll come to a point where the doubt never comes. But it'll be there initial days, but then slowly it'll come for a period of time. It's okay, not worry about it. Yes.
There's one question from Suman Saurabh. How can I experience the sensations or feelings you mentioned during today's meditation session? I haven't felt anything so far. Please guide me.
It's not necessary to feel. So if you go back and listen to the recordings of day 1, 2, 3, I think 2 or 3, we talked about meditation experiences in elaborate detail. And all the recordings are there available in the app as well as in the YouTube somewhere, but definitely in the app if you go into the program Sankalp and Buddha SEO app. And we explained sensations and feelings may happen, may not happen. Not everybody experiences them. Some people don't experience anything. They're sitting down and then meditation is over. They didn't feel anything. Maybe they're quieter, calmer. That's all, it's over. Good enough. Some people have moments. Some people have currents passing, tingling sensations. They don't know their body existed. They're very light, heavy. All these we explained in that thing. But so sensations may come, may not come, not necessary for a meditator to go through and then benefit from. It's one of the many experiences. If you have them, I say you experience them. Observe them. If you don't have them, just witness to whatever that is state you are into, that empty state or a calm state. That's all.
So there's one sharing from Sangeeta Ma'am again. I feel very happy and good when I water plants and feed birds.
Yes. If that feeling is increasing, you know that your meditation is working, your connection is increasing. Earlier, we were very unmindful of just cross by plants and trees, but then now we're a little more mindful. We start thinking, wow, what a beautiful shade you're getting. Earlier it's a right, but now it's not a right anymore. We're more grateful. We're thinking about them too. On a summery day, you eat a watermelon and try, and then you want something. Watermelon, the most beautiful creation, so much water it holds. There's something called water apple. It's just full of water. What a beautiful creation. You start contemplating these things, and that's how you develop that love and friendship with nature. It'll happen because you're becoming more aware. We don't take anything for granted, and then we start connecting with them a little more deeply. So that's why meditation is developing great friendship with the environment. So environmentalists, rather than talking about environment, can actually introduce meditation to people, and so then suddenly the great love is developed towards environment. In a global conference, this is one track that we intend to bring up actively, that when you have mindfulness meditation practices, then suddenly they're having a huge impact on the environment because you become very considerate to everything around you. Right? Yes.
So there's one more question from Neeraj Sharma. May it be possible to make available some books which are supposed to be the most important to change life as we think and should be read by all as to help to fulfill the motive of Buddha CEO in its app?
May it be possible to make available some books which are supposed to be the most important to change life as we think and should be reading all of it. Of course, we have books are given, right? The list of books have been given. The list of books have been given in a wisdom note in great detail. And then we're doing a book club. So now we have to acquire the books. We don't give PDFs because authors spend their lifetime writing, and then just simply taking the PDF is not appropriate. We know this. And so we don't encourage PDFs unless something is out of print, like in a very old book. But otherwise, we encourage people to just invest a little bit of time, a little bit of money, and then buy your own copy. Right? If that's what you're asking, then sorry, we don't do that. And so we ask people to just invest. Your life is changing. So what is, in India, 300, 500 rupees? And then what is a few dollars in the United States? We must have that attitude in buying books than to simply use pirated copies.
So there's one question from Nandini ma'am. Sir, I have some space. I want to convert it into small pyramid. How do I go about it? Who will be able to help me? Like what material to use?
Okay, madam. So get in touch with a facilitator. I'll give you a number. Beautiful. So we will connect you to someone who can help you what you can do with it. You are, I don't know where you are. Where are you based? Everybody's home must become a meditation center. If you love this, then can you open up the space so that you can facilitate, call your neighbors, ask them, and then you can reach out to your facilitator. They can come online and then do a simple session to you. And we are all for doing sessions for your neighbors, your friend circle, your relatives, and then even you can do it. All these guided meditations are there. You just bring them and then say, hey, close your eyes, observe the breath. That's meditation. So many people are struggling with mental health challenges. So many, they cannot able to come to terms. And so they're waiting to listen to someone who can give that space where they can just find themselves. So you can do it. Beautiful thought. Every home, our home is a meditation center. Always it is an open center for anyone to come. And we ran with a board for 5 years. And afterwards, when I opened in Bangalore in a public space, then I removed the board, or rather it's there for a long time, then I just destroyed it. But every space, every home must become a meditation center. We saw our Master Lavanya's home in Iowa. It is a meditation space or loving kindness center. We share what we know. Yes. So if you know, we will connect you to someone who can help you, madam.
So there's one more sharing. I noticed one very weak weed plant in my pot. I started taking care of it. Now it is 2 feet high and very healthy. I love to watch him growing. So Nandini ma'am is from Hassan.
Beautiful. Beautiful. Yes, develop that beautiful friendship to the nature. Okay, Hassan, Karnataka. Okay, I will connect you to one of the pyramid masters locally. There may be already pyramids out there. I'll connect you to someone there. Okay. Please bring this Sagar.
Yes, sir.
Who is that in the group? So we'll act on this.
Yes, sir. Sure.
Okay. Hand it out to Sirisha.
Sure.
Okay, so we'll conclude here.
So, thanks a lot for today's wisdom, sir. I guess many would have got benefited out of it. Thanks a lot. And thanks a lot, my dear friends and masters. Hope to see you all tomorrow. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you all, dear friends.
I'm so grateful. 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 Gratitude before me, gratitude behind me, gratitude to the left of me, gratitude to the right of me, gratitude above me, gratitude below me, gratitude within.